Have you ever had those thoughts which really put you down? You did not feel good about it. And you had all these thoughts, you felt like you're worrying, you were losing energy, you didn't feel like doing anything. Have you ever felt that? If you have felt that, you most likely would have experienced unhelpful thought or an unhelpful thinking pattern. Now, what is this? I'll get into that in this video. So, if you want to have more energy, if you want to get rid of your unnecessary thinking, if you want to solve all the negative thinking you have, then watch this video till the end. Hello guys, welcome to Models of Excellence series, where we tell you about tools, strategies and techniques to help you lead an excellent life. So Aaron Beck, he was a psychologist, one of the early pioneers of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. So as he was going through his patients in therapies, he started noticing a pattern. That pattern was that a lot of them had certain unhelpful thinking styles. They thought a certain way. There were certain patterns too. Now as he was going through it, he was able to list them out and he called it cognitive distortions. Now years later, one of his students, early students, David Burns, he wrote a big book called Feeling Good, Feel Good or Feeling Good, something close to that. And in that he listed certain unhelpful thinking patterns, some very common ones that you could use to deal with your issues, your negative thinking or thoughts that are really troubling you. Now, why is that important? Before I go through the details, why is it important for you to deal with these? The reason why this is important is because cognitive distortions are like dust in your lens. They help you see, but not clearly. Going through this process will actually help you see things a lot more clearly. It'll make you see things a lot more logically with less emotion, which means you're able to better deal with them. So what are the cognitive distortions? So in this video, I'll be going through the cognitive distortions. In the next video that'll be following up with this, you will learn about how to deal with it. What are the steps after you understand this cognitive distortion? So there are about 10 very common ones. First one is called as all or nothing thinking, where your thinking is black or white. For example, in movies when they say you're either with me or against me. That's not true, right? Just because you're not with someone doesn't mean you're against them. Just because you're not supporting someone doesn't mean you're completely opposing that. So that kind of a thinking is called all or nothing thinking. Second is overgeneralization. You look at one event and you create a rule that it's going to be like that for the rest of the life. For example, when I was learning freelancing, when I was doing freelancing, I met with this entrepreneur who had had some bad experience with a digital marketer. And because of that, he thought that every digital marketers are like that. Everyone are liars or they don't do the work like that. And when I started speaking to him, once I realized that, then I had to work with him to take that part away and then pitch digital marketing. And that was kind of what I realized. So just based on one event, he was able to draw a conclusion that everyone are like that, which is obviously not true. The third one is called mental filter, where you dwell on the negatives and you kind of ignore the positive. You dwell too much on the negative. For example, you could be like, you did a mistake. You did other things well as well in the exams, but you're like, instead of focusing on positive, you're like, man, I messed all of those things up. That's one. Next is discounting the positive. It's kind of opposite to mental filter, but it's where you discount the positive. You make it as if the good things that you did are not worth it. You're like, you know what? Hey, I made a mistake. And if somebody came and told you, you know what? No, you also did other things right. And you're like, yeah, but they don't matter. I made that mistake. So that kind of a thinking. Fifth one is jumping to conclusions. There are two types of jumping to conclusion. One is mind reading. Mind reading is where you look at a person and you come up with things that they might be thinking about. You think that you know what they're thinking about. That's one. The other part is events. When it comes to events, it's called fortune telling. You think that you know how the event will unfold. And depending on that, you start getting anxious or something like that. So for example, one thing about jumping to conclusion should be like, you have a stain on your shirt. And you're walking and you're like, you're walking into your office and you're like, man, these people are looking at me and thinking, why do I have a stain? I should be neat. right? I'm a professional. So you kind of act like they're thinking about you. In reality, most people, even though it might seem like it, they're stuck in their own drama. They don't really give too much weight on it. Now, when it comes to looking at the predicting the event, let's say you're late to the office and you start imagining, oh, how your boss will be very angry about it and all that, and you're trying to predict that outcome. Of course, there are other outcomes as well, but you're focused on that. So that's an example for it. Next is magnification or minimization. Magnification is like you take something and you make it too big, or minimization is you boil down the importance of something. So for example, magnification could be one example. One common example is your degree. When you go for a job, you think your degree is very, very, very important. Right now, at this point of time, yes, it is, but your skills are important as well. If you don't have the right skills for the job, a lot of times you might not get the job. So making degree very, very important, acting like, you know what, if you're not educated, you're out of the job, you're never getting a job. That's kind of magnification. Minimization is like, you know what, nobody cares about skills. They only need degree. Skills are not that important. I can get it later. So that's like minimizing the importance of that. Next, emotional reasoning. Generally, your thoughts creates your emotion. So if you think good thoughts, you have good emotion. Now, a lot of times reverse could be true too. When you're feeling really, really bad, you also have negative thoughts, right? For example, if you don't feel good, you're like, man, I should not have done that. I'm an idiot. Or man, I'm such a dumbass. Just because you feel dumb or something like that, which may not be true. You don't really have evidence to prove that. Maybe one or two instances, but not all. That is emotional reasoning. The next one, eighth one, is should statements. You try to put, you try to have expectation to yourself. Having self-expectation is good, but if it becomes extreme, it becomes a problem. For example, I should do this. I must do this. So in one of the other articles, I also read that this way of motivating can actually backfire later on. So that is like, I should do it. I must do it. This is a must for me. This is how I am. I should do this because that's who I am. Something like that. The next one, ninth one, is called labeling. Labeling is where you label yourself. For example, remember I told you, man, I'm a dumbass. You're labeling yourself based on one or two events. Man, I'm such a burden. So something like that, you're labeling yourself. Man, I'm a loser just because some things don't work out. So that kind of a thing. 10th one is personalization and blame, where you try to blame yourself for something that was not in your control, and where you try to personalize everything that is happening in the world. For example, if you are late, let's say you miss a flight. Alright, you feel like, man, why is universe out to get me? Let's say because of traffic jam, and you're like, man, universe is always trying to come in my way. The world hates me, or world is against me. So that kind of a thinking. Blame is, let's say something happens to your friend. Alright, your friend makes a bad decision. Maybe he does a crime and he ends up in jail, and you're sitting here thinking, it's my fault. I should have heard to him. I should have been nice to him. I should have gotten to know him better. My fault. This usually happens when you kind of exchange influence and control. When you think, you might have had influence on people, but you think influence is control. If you feel like you could have controlled the situation, which you cannot really do it, that's where this arises out of. Now, this is the first part. These are the cognitive distortions, the common ones. If you go Google it, there are a lot more things. Now, what do you do with this? I told you all these, right? What do you do with this? This is something that I'll be explaining in the next video. I'll be telling you how to take your unhelpful thoughts and destroy them, or convert them into something positive, something that could motivate you, help you, and even make you feel a lot more happy. With that said, if you felt like you learned something of value, then leave a like, hit that subscribe button. With that said, this is Abhishek signing off. I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.